Treasury Board regular meeting for October 24th. Roll call.
Mr. Allen,
Present.
Mrs. Calhoun,
Here.
Ms. Dobler,
Here.
Ms. Edwards,
Here.
Mrs. Grant, Mr. Kinley. Here. Mrs. Petrowski,
Here.
Mrs. Stemler,
Here.
Mrs. Thomas.
Here.
All 9 members present.
Next will be the pledge of allegiance.
Before you stand, I want to call forward Mr. Robert and Mr. Ryan Lombardi. I asked them to come tonight because yesterday, both of them were recognized as Eagle Scouts. And that is quite an accomplishment for these two young gentlemen. So I asked them to come for 2 reasons. 1, to recognize them for accomplishing their Eagle Scout rank. But 2, then to ask them to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. So I'm going to pause and recognize both of you first. Congratulations. And then, could you please lead the board in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Don't leave yet. Come on up here.
What was your project, guys? What was your project? Did you?
We did 2 separate ones. I painted 30 birdhouses or
Okay.
bluebird boxes for technically wool bricks, but we haven't been able to hang them up yet.
Thank you.
I did a revitalization of a water fountain. Oh, it's a plantation water fountain.
Where was that?
Woolridge Park.
Okay.
Thank you.
Don't leave yet. I'm going to give you your certificates. And then I think there's some people that want to get pictures. So I'm going to just turn around right here and we'll let them get their pictures.
Good job, guys.
Thank you so much.
Good job, guys.
Thank you.
Next, we have approval of the minutes from the September 12th and September 26th, 2022 regular meetings. May I have a motion?
So moved.
I'll second.
Any questions? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
All those not in favor, like sign. Motion carries. Approval of the treasurer's report. There's the September 2022 treasurer's report. There's a September 2022 investment report. There is a September 2022 board summary report. And there is a September 2022 student activities report. May I have a motion?
So moved. Doesn't matter to me.
Any questions?
Can I make a comment?
You want to hear or the next one?
On this one, well, I'm going to do both.
Okay.
First thing I want to speak to is your treasurer's report. Please note, we made an asterisk next to several accounts. We are starting to close down our Pleiad accounts. That's part of the transition to move us to monthly bank, which the board voted on in the spring. So we are working at getting that done. There was a process to get checks ordered, and now the closing process isn't as normal as it is with a normal bank. So that process is starting to come. This will be the last, anything with an asterisk, this will be the last meeting they appear on your treasurer's report. So the next meeting, they will disappear. The last thing I wanted to show you was the investment report. We did do another $500,000 purchase this past month. In September, we will probably be doing some more money in November. My understanding is the Fed is meeting again in November. And from what I'm hearing, it's likely that they're going to raise interest rates again.
And follow after that again. Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 All those not in favor, like sign. Motion carries. Approvals of the bill. The bills amount to $8,152,489.20. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Enders, you're up on this one.
The bills are high this month than normal. Your month-end bills, the $1.7 million, there is a payment to Hunt Engineers for the HVAC project with $70,000, payment to Site Logic for just over $625,000, and Sugar Valley Charter payment of just short of $569,000. That's July through November tuition. The main driver of your bills this past month was the 3 bond payments. I believe I told the board that last month that they were coming. They were just short of $2.5 million. September 1st is the larger of the 2 bond payments we make per year. So that was the primary driver. Also, it was a little larger than normal because we paid 2 months of health insurance when typically we only pay 1. We paid August and we paid September in the month of September. It's about $430,000 per month, so it's doubled up at $360,000. Those are the main drivers of why your bills are so high. Again, your bond payments came out, they were just shy of $2.5 million.
How many more payments do we owe Hunt and Site Logic?
The Hunt one, I believe, is just about done. Site Logic. The amount remaining on the contract is about $170,000. 95% complete based on how they're charting out their payments.
And when will that come out?
It would be after closeout.
Yeah, we're gonna close out. There's always a retention in the contract,
I would
so
say.
once they're done, that's when they'll get their final payment, and we're all happy.
You probably won't see that until at least the December agenda.
Okay.
I would probably say, because the December meeting being early, it's probably gonna be closer to January.
I'm gonna say, we don't usually have that on in December.
Yeah, we set it up as we have a regular meeting after reorg.
Any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Not in favor, like sign. Motion carried. Moving on to presentations, communications, Dr. Ulmer.
I would just like to point out under communications, our employee of the month. I want to recognize Mrs. Monica Richards, who is a paraprofessional in the middle school, and I'm going to read a little bit from her nomination. The teachers that work with her said that Monica works, not only is she a paraprofessional, she helps with the school musical, she coaches track, she does anything else that's needed in the middle school. She has the amazing ability to see what needs done, and she does it. She has a positive relationship with all of our students, and they all feel comfortable working with her. So thank you to Monica Richards, our employee of the month. Thank you.
President's report, we had an executive session held before the meeting of starting at 5:45 for the purpose of legal, personnel, and safety. Also on the agenda, letter E, personnel, letter I, there is the winter coach stipend list, and there were, two people that were interchanged. Adam Klein and Josh Smith should be interchanged on that attachment. IU report.
Yes. I'd like to, discuss the local task force 17 in our area. You can contact Glass down in Williamsport. I'm just gonna read what their description is. We hope to be able to contribute insightful recommendations that will provide strengthen and help explain services for students in need. We provide services, referrals, information, networking for, and between our members and community. We desire to foster strong, solid working foundations between parents and their school district and officials, so that everyone who is invested in education of the student receives special education services, is able to function as a team and to obtain the best possible education for each student. The next meeting will be September 22nd at 5:30 at the Blacks Building on Reach Road. If any parent feels like they would need some extra support or would like to have an additional service, I highly recommend it.
When did you say the next meeting was?
Oh, I'm sorry, there's November 3rd. I'm sorry. It has the schedule, I'm sorry.
November 3rd.
Yes,
Okay.
November 3rd, I apologize.
Kendall, any report from a student?
Yeah,
You need to go to the, so that it picks up on the mic. Thank you.
no, I definitely cannot. Okay. I would like to report that there have been a number of successful and positive activities at the high school. The Youth Development Task Force and the U.S. Army hosted an anti-bullying BMX assembly for all the students at the high school. The Bulldog Marching Band scored a 79.27 at their recent competition, taking top honor, which includes high percussion and high auxiliary. And they will also participate in the Tournament of Bands, the Pennsylvania State competition this Saturday, October 29th. The girls' tennis team are playing at the state playoffs starting tomorrow. The boys' soccer team are playing in the district playoffs on Saturday in Milton. The Powder Puff game is tomorrow night at 7 at the stadium, and it costs $5. And the last thing I have to report is that the Student Council is organizing a Spirit Week next week to promote Marking Period 1 accomplishments, school-wide achievements, and school spirit.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kenny.
Superintendent's report.
I'm going to start by recognizing Mr. Enders to talk about the budget calendar.
I did attach the budget calendar to the agenda. We will also print this off in color, and it will be part of your budget binders when they are given to you in January, usually one of the very first pages. I'm going to highlight a couple of very important dates for all of you. January 23rd would be the district deadline to adopt the resolution to stay within the index for proposed preliminary budget and go for exceptions.
Do we know the index at this point?
The base index is 4.1. I haven't seen our adjusted index yet.
Okay.
There's a color coding to the budget or to the calendar. I put the codes at the very end of it. If you stay within the resolution as we've done in the past, you would adopt your proposed final budget at the May 8th board meeting. You would give Dr. Ulmer and I direction on real estate taxes to develop the final budget at the May 22nd meeting. And then on the June 12th board meeting would be when the final budget, the final tax resolution, all the homestead, farmstead, everything would be finalized and approved. Like I said, it is on the, it's attached to the agenda. We will also give you hard copies when you get your budget binders. You will get your budget binders the first meeting of January. Going through last budget season, Dr. Ulmer has talked to me about developing some training materials for the board for budget, some definitions. We have reached out to PSBA. Shockingly enough, PSBA does not have anything like that. I'm actually going to reach out to PASBO as well. One of the things that Dr. Ulmer and I discussed in regards to this would be if you would individually send me an email with questions that you might have, or like if you want to know, for example, what the Act 1 index is, the definition. We will work at putting something together and put that in your budget binder in the front. We're going to try to do this very anonymous, so no one feels like they're asking stupid questions. You don't need to include other board members. The questions won't be identified by a board member. It's going to be literally, if I get one, a definition of Act 1, you're going to get a sheet of paper with the Act 1 index and try to put a layman's definition to it. Okay? So whatever you have, if you can email me in the next week or two, we'll work at putting that together. Or you'll put it in the budget fund. Like I said, also, I will also reach out to my organization, which is PASBO, to see if the school business like that. Okay? Are there any questions regarding the budget calendar? Am I allowed to move on to Act 57?
Sure.
Do you have a question?
Not really related to, it's just being nitpicky. Would you put all, so you broke it down by schools before, and each board meeting gave us that my personality works better if you give me everything all at once in my binder? Like all.
Oh, you want the entire section at one time? Okay, that's not a problem.
Thank you.
Mhm. The Act 57 resolution is on your agenda for a first look at. This is required to be passed by January 7th. I think we have to have it passed by December because we don't have the board meeting. What it is, it's legislation passed by this Commonwealth that requires taxing agencies to waive penalties, fees, interest due on late tax bill if certain very special conditions apply. First thing is it has to be a transfer of ownership. The new owner has to attest that they did not get a real estate tax notice. I say they have to attest because that's all they have to do is they have to say that we never got it. There's no way for us to prove that they didn't or did not get it. They have to provide proof that the transfer happened within the previous 12 months. They have to provide a waiver, requesting waiver of the penalty, essentially for us. And when it's done, they must provide full payment at face on the bill. So all those have to happen at the same time. The other thing I attached to the agenda is, if you read through the resolution, it speaks to the DCD provided waiver and attestation form. That was attached to the agenda as well. That was the other item that was labeled as the DCD standard waiver attestation form. So that's what they'll be sending us. Again, the key point is it's only for properties that are sold within the change ownership in the previous 12 months. I will tell you, we do run into several instances of this where the new homeowner claims they never got the tax bill. So it's not something that is a rarity that we run into. We're gonna probably run into it. This will go into effect July 1st of 2023. But we have to have the resolution passed essentially by January.
The previous 12 months, does that start at the penalty date or some other date?
The previous 12 months of the qualifying event. So it has to be from the date of sale is going to be the starting on.
Thank you.
The
Yep.
clock. Does that make sense to everyone? Our intent is to have this resolution on the next board meeting for your.
This resolution comes about because the law changed.
Yes.
And this is a mandated part of the law.
Other questions? Thank you, Mr. Enders. I'm going to recognize Kathy Eisner to talk about a memorial.
Dr. Almer and school board members. This plaque is in memory of Courtney Mealy, who collapsed in the lobby of the high school on the morning of January 21st, 2019, and died later that day. Courtney's enthusiasm and laughter were infectious to all that ever met her. During home football games, you could honestly hear her at the other end of the stadium. Many times you would find Courtney down with the cheerleaders, leading cheers and yelling at the kids in the stand. Also with this plaque, we would like to recognize her mom, Deb Mealy. Deb has continued the past few years supporting our music department in many ways. She has worked in the concession stand. She continues to go to competitions, plays, and musicals. She donates whenever we need something. The family also continues to support 2 different scholarships that are given out to seniors every year. The Music Boosters are requesting permission to hang this plaque on the side rail by the band inside the football stadium. As you can see, it measures 2 by 6, which matches the guidelines of the school district's policy 702.1. We would ask that if we could please present this at the next home football game, as this year's seniors were 8th graders with Courtney in the band, and they will all be graduating. Thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you.
Questions from the board?
Were you guys able to see what it said?
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
And as she mentioned, the way the policy is written is you as a board have to approve any such requests, which is why I asked them to present it to you and show you what they're requesting, because you do have to, per policy, approve it before they would be allowed to do it. Any other questions? Also tonight under my report is a couple of job descriptions. As I continue to work through the job descriptions in the district, these again are under my report are just for presentation. As always, if you have any questions about those as they are on the agenda tonight, please let me know. If you would like to see anything change, otherwise they'll be on the next agenda for approval. And that's my report.
Thank you. Next on the agenda would be courtesy of the floor, but there is no one signed up, so we will move on to personnel, letter E. There is attached the Director of Technology job description, the Attendance Officer job description, Department Coordinator job description at FMLA from September 6th through October the 13th for an employee, accepting a letter of resignation from Michelle Person and from Charlotte Beerley as student council advisors, appointment of Kelly Bustler as head swimming coach, accept a letter of resignation from Tricia Richardson, paraprofessional at JSE, the 22-23 winter sports coaching staff and stipends per the attached listing with the corrections identified, Cody Starkweather as an aide for Windecker Enterprises, and Louie Gasparine as a volunteer coach for swimming. May I have a motion?
Thank you.
Questions?
Mrs. Thomas, can you repeat the correction? I missed it, and I want to make sure the notes are.
On the attachment, Adam Klein, Josh Smith, head junior high and assistant, they're switched.
So Adam Klein
Adam's the head coach.
should be the head junior high.
Adam
coach.
Klein should be the head and Josh Smith should
Is
be
the
the assistant.
assistant junior high.
And just so that it's said out loud, Adam Klein, again, should be the head coach for junior high with a salary of $41.11. Josh Smith should be the assistant with a salary of $28.40 and 50 cents. But I can hand you this written note, so you have it.
What was the last number? 28 what?
2840.5.
Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
None in favor, like sign. Motion carries. Under curriculum and instruction, we have the foreign country field trip to Spain, which will happen sometime between June 18th of 2023 and July 2nd. And we have the Concord Theatrical Musical Agreement for the 22-23 senior high school musical Nonsense. May I have a motion? Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Not in favor, like sign. Motion carries. Moving on to finances. Letter A is the transportation management contract with Windecker Enterprises for the 22-23 school year with annual consideration. The funds will come out of the contingency funds. Letter B is purchase of pollution liability insurance coverages for the period of November 1 of 2022 through November 1 of 2025. And at the cost of $26,122. This is budgeted and is within the budgeted amount. We will do a roll call vote on letter A. May I have a motion?
Motion.
I'll second.
All right, so all right, questions, sorry. We'll do letter A with the roll call, Mr. Enders.
Mr. Allen,
Yes.
Ms. Kellen,
Yes.
Ms. Dobler,
Yes.
Ms. Edwards,
Yes.
Mrs. Grant,
Yes.
Mr. Kinley,
Yes.
Mrs. Petrowski,
Yes.
Mrs. Stemler, Mrs. Thomas,
Yes,
9-0.
motion carries. Letter B, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Not in favor, like sign. Motion carries. Next is miscellaneous. Approve a statement of rights and waiver of a hearing for a student 2223-03 dated October 10th, 2022. Approve a memorandum of understanding with AmeriCorps seniors October 2022 through October 2025. Policy 913.1, sponsorship and advertising at the second reading. The administration to place 18 4-drawer filing cabinets and 2 3-drawer filing cabinets on the municipal bid. And letter E, fill participants in student teaching agreements between Lycoming College and Jersey Shore Area School District. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Any questions?
Dr. Almer, can you elaborate more on this Lycoming College agreement?
Yeah, it is a renewal. They do this for multiple years, so our current agreement is expiring, and this would be another 5-year agreement for us. The parameters of what our job is and what their job is when we accept a student teacher. We'll take them. We hope they stay here and work.
Any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Not in favor, like sign. Motion carries. Nothing under old business. Next, we have courtesy of the floor. This courtesy of the floor will be for public comment on non-agenda items. State your name, address, and identify what you would like to address, and you will have 3 minutes. Is there anyone that would like to approach courtesy of the floor? Seeing none, we'll move on. Need the executive session? There will be no executive session after the meeting. Moving on to adjournment, may I have a motion?
A second.
Meeting is adjourned.